Happy Friday to all the knit-alongers. Hope you've been having a great week, enjoying the nice weather wherever you are. Feel free to comment and let us know where you're watching us from. So this is now week 3 of our Fall Flair knit-along, and we've been featuring 3 awesome designs by Canadian designer Jennifer Beale. Design number 1 is Marquise. You might recognize it here on my right. And it has been very popular. I'd love to see the progress pics. Feel free to post them on our events page, and I'll try to take some more pictures of our in-store knit-along, which happens every Friday at 1 till 3, and let you know how everybody is doing. So Marquise is a top-down t-shirt style with A-line shaping, a little bit of color work across the chest area, and lace work across the yoke and the shoulders, across the back, and then down the sides. There you can see the beautiful lace work. So it's increases in this panel that create the wider width as you get closer to the hem. So that is knit on a 3.5 and 4 millimeter. It's worked in the round. There's no seams. I-cord edging around the neckline, optional around the armhole edges, and garter stitch around the bottom. We've used a sport weight yarn hand dyed in Muskoka called Luso, and it's a combination of bamboo, plant-based viscose, and then merino wool and bamboo. And it does have a beautiful luster. If you're not fussy about doing the color work, that's optional, of course. You can do it all in one color. The other option that some of you are using is the British Blue, which is blue face luster. It's got a really nice bouncy feel and very soft handle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades in that. And then option number 2 is Trapeze cardigan. I think the incredible lace and cable work scared away some knitters, so it's not as popular as option number 1 and 3. But when we have one finished, we'll be sure to show you, and it's really not as scary as it looks. So for this one, it's worked on 3.75 millimeter needles. It's also worked in the same yarn. So it's a sport weight, either a wool or a wool blend, something that gives you lots of drape, because again, it is A-line shaping. It's a button-up cardigan with these nice slash pockets, and the front eyelets serve as built-in buttonholes. So lace cables and no ferrule. So that's option number 2, and then option number 3 is extremely popular. It's called Lamaline, and this one is worked from the bottom up above the color work, and it involves provisional cast on, color work with mitered corners, 3 needle bind off. It's worked on size 3 millimeter, 3.25, and 3.75, and it is fingering weight. So for that one, we've been using the pure merino superwash. Very, very lightweight, squishy, and beautiful rich colors. You can see there are some tonals in the blue and the cranberry. We also have a charcoal, light gray. These are just some of the recent color choices. And then we've also worked in some multicolor for the color work. So you can have 2 solids, or you can have a semi-solid and a multicolor. So lots and lots of interesting choices. So those are the 3 designs. Last week we had a question and answer involving the designer. So you can find the previous videos on our events page. Today we'll do a trivia question, or a few questions, see who gets it right. And of course, we do have our ballot box, so everybody who's participating in this knit-along does have a ballot in for each project they've chosen, and then they get an extra ballot if they get the Trivia Incentive Ballot Weekly. And today I also have the grand prize in my hot little hand. So I'll bring that up closer to the camera. So this is from our yarn supplier, Estelle, and it is a basket full of beautiful Peruvian wool. I can see a pom-pom, double point needles, and also a hat pattern. So I'm assuming that it's a kit to make at least 1 or 2 hats. So we'll have one lucky winner, and we'll be drawing for that winner live in 2 weeks. So the more ballots you get in, the more chances to win. So today what I'm going to do is just go over the 3 different patterns, give you some helpful tips, and then I will steer you towards the links that will be posted in the video after it airs. So to knit marquee, last week we were talking about this area is worked on a larger needle, of course, the color work, so that it's not pulling and puckering across the front. This section is on the smaller needle because that's plain stocking stitch. So you have the option of adding extra length to this design. I didn't add any extra length, I went exactly as the pattern specified. But if you have a longer torso, then of course you might want to add another panel. So 1 repeat of the lace panel is 16 rounds, so that's about 2 inches. So that's how much extra you can add, but you have to make sure you have enough extra yardage in the yarn that you've chosen. That is very important. So in the pattern, she will have you working 1, 2, 3 sections of the 16 round repeat. If you want to add extra length, you'll add another 16 round repeat and then finish with the 12 round repeat before you get into the garter stitch border. So that is where you would add it. Some people have asked, do I add it here or here, maybe in some plain stocking stitch before the lace work? No, that would change the proportions and the shaping. So it is worked closer to the end. So that's something you can think about while you're knitting it. You also have the option of doing the I-cord here on the border as explained in the pattern. I chose not to because when I did a sample section of I-cord edging, I found that the sleeve just really flared too much. And if you want to pull in your sleeve cuff slightly, then garter stitch is a better option. It will also match the bottom, so it looks like it's meant to be. And with the garter stitch, you can skip every other stitch if you want and just give it a nice shaping here. So that's another change you can do. Now on Trepacy, which is the A-line cardigan, you're probably now working on your left and right front sections. So that is the section that you see in the lace work. Those are worked from the top down. We have one of our knit-alongers who's kindly lent me her beginning section of the cardigan. So I'll bring it up so you can have a look. So this is showing the reverse stocking stitch as the right side. And this is one of the neck panels completed. So it almost creates a triangle, and it has the built-in I-cord at the edge of the neck. So this is going to sit on shoulder number 1, and then the opposite mirror image, it's a mirror image of what was done, is going to be for shoulder number 2, and then she's just cast on the back neck stitches to connect the two. And because it's a cardigan, she doesn't have to cast on any at the front. Now she will be picking up stitches along the edge of the neck piece. You can see that beautiful lace work on both sides, and that will start her work going down into the body. So this color she's chosen is in the Merino Superwash in the fingering weight, and it's got a nice autumn vibe to it. And today we realized it would go with olive green, denim, chocolate brown, charcoal black, all the basic colors in the wardrobe. So we'll see more progress on this next week if you tune in at 5 p.m. Okay, so more of the techniques on trepacie. So you're going to work the right front lace panels down to the hemline, but you're not going to cast off. You're going to leave the stitches on holders, and then you're going to be picking up stitches. I have to show you on the diagram to make sense of it. You're going to be picking up stitches along the lace edge to start these interesting pocket shapes. So this will be on a stitch holder here. This border will be on a stitch holder here, and then you're instructed to pick up stitches along the outside edge of the lace panel and work the pocket according to your lace chart, decreasing as you go, and that's going to create a little point on the pocket which will reach the side seam eventually on the cardigan. Very, very innovative construction. And on this picture you'll see exactly how the pocket joins at the side edge. So this part is open, and then this part is joined onto the hem at a later time. So it's all about having comfortable, convenient pockets just to stash your car key in or your cell phone. So that is really everything on trepacie that you'll be getting into in the next week or so. Now on Lamaline, there is a 3 needle bind off. So I'm going to put the link down below so you can see how that is done if you've never done it before. If you have done the 3 needle bind off, you're probably more familiar with it on the shoulder seams where we have left our stitches on a spare needle, back and front, and then we take a 3rd needle, we hold the 2 needles with stitches together, and we do this on the wrong side of the work so that the seam is on the inside and it gives you a nice smooth finish. Well, on Lamaline, you're going to be doing a visible seam in the 3 needle bind off. So you're going to have the 2 back panels together right at the center on spare needles, and the 3rd needle is going to work on the right side of the work, joining all the stitches together, casting off as you go, and then you're going to get that lovely ridge right down the back, and I think I may have a picture of that. So it is a detail. If it bothers you and you don't like to have the visible seam, then by all means you can do it on the wrong side of the work, and it will just give a little bit of slight impression there where the stitches are pulled inwards. Yeah, I thought I had a picture of it, but if I find it, I will post it on the event page. It's in your pattern somewhere. Now the other details on Lamaline would be you should be doing your short rows to shape the shoulders, and after you have completed 1/2 of the cardigan, so that's the sleeve, the front and the back, you'll be ready to pick up the stitches at the provisional cast on at the halfway point, which would be the side seam, the faux side seam. You'll be picking up those stitches, and you have to remember when you're picking up those stitches that every second stitch will look twisted, turn to a different direction. So to untwist the stitch, you're just going to knit into the back of every second stitch, and that will correct the position along the provisional row. From that point, you're going to pick up stitches all the way up the front to the shoulder and across to the center back. You'll be instructed to put a marker at the front corner and also the center back, and that's where you'll be working the mitered corners here and then following the chart work the rest of the way up. So that's where the fun part begins, and it's actually a great cardigan pattern because if you're not sure what color you want for your contrast color, you can do all the main color work on the body and then see what materializes, what color pops out, if it's a tweed or a heather or a flecked yarn, and then you can pick your contrast color. Okay, so those are all the little techniques that you'll be working through on those 3 projects. I'll put the links down below for anything that you might need help with. And now for our trivia question. So this is for an incentive ballot to go into the ballot box to win the grand prize. So this is a knit-along that is focused on the East Coast, Newfoundland, because that is where the designer comes from. And a lot of her inspiration for her projects is from what is around in her backyard, front yard, her ocean view, wherever she goes. So we've got some Newfoundland slang sayings. Now, if you think you know the meaning of each, feel free to post in the comments. You may not get all of them, you don't have to. If you get one, that's fine. If you don't get any, at least you've tried. And we'll just pick a random winner. So I've got 5 sayings. I'll try to pronounce them correctly. Stay where you're to till I comes where you're at. Now, what does that mean? Does anyone have an idea? Stay where you're to till I comes where you're at. Second one, lodge it on da bridge. Lodge it on da bridge. Really has nothing to do with a bridge. Okay, next one, number 3. Put the side back in Put the side back in Do we have anybody who's from the East Coast that can help us with the meanings of all of these? And this one will completely boggle you. I was mystified. I'm just about gut-founded. And really, surprisingly, it has nothing to do with fish or the ocean. I'm just about gut-founded. So if you know the meaning to that one, or you have kind of a guess, feel free to post it in the comments. We won't pick our winner until later. And the last one should be something that we all know. Who knit ya? Who knit ya? Question mark. Any ideas what that one means? Does it have to do with yarn? Does it have to do with knitting? Does it have to do with pointy sticks, pointy needles? It must be something very interesting. So I will leave you with those. See how many you can guess. Share it with your friends. Call a friend. Maybe somebody who lives on the East Coast and they can fill in the blanks for you. So thanks everybody for joining today. I hope you're getting lots of progress done on your projects, and I will just keep posting pictures as they come in. Don't feel any pressure to go at a certain speed. Everybody is at their own pace. We've got a lot going on outdoors, trying to get ready for the winter. Christmas things are starting to happen. Who knows what else. So every day, if you knit a few stitches or a few rows, that is a great progress. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week, Friday at 5 p.m.